Good day, everybody. I am Alvin Winston P. Cafe, and I am student 3 of Water Resource Engineering under Ma'am Shona Sales. And today I will be reporting about groundwater and runoff movement. So first, we'll be discussing about what is groundwater. So groundwater is the water found underground in the cracks and spaces in soil, sand, and rock. So it is the largest and most widely available supply of high quality fresh water for use. So groundwater is kanatong mailhan na tubig na nasa ilalom sa tong yuta. So kumbaga mo na siya ang fresh water na ginagikanan sa itong mga water supplies, sa water district, ana. So muna sila ang mga makita if ever magkalot deep down sa itong soil. So now, this is illustration on where to find groundwater. So kung makita mo dira, so ang saturated zone, so muna siya ang kanang yuta na to ni yuta. And on there na is the water table in which dira medyo basa na tubig because of the groundwater sa baba, but dili pa na siya drinkable or dili pa na siya nakahinglo. And lalaman na is dara makita ang atong mga pinakadagko ng bodies of water in which kay dara dagko po ng spaces in which gina-fill in na siya sa groundwater. So, groundwater supplies are replenished or recharged by rain and snow melt that seeps down into the cracks and crevices beneath the land surface. In some areas of the world, people face serious water shortages because groundwater is used faster than it is naturally replenished. So in other areas, groundwater is polluted by human activity. So just like any other resources, if ever na dili mapulihan dayon, kumbaga mas taas ang demand kaysa sa supply, mahurot o mahurot jud na siya. So groundwater is also an example of that resource. So, kumbaga, if ever man na taas kayo ang demand sa paggamit sa groundwater and dili kayo nagaulan or wala kayo chance na mag-replenish ang groundwater, so mahurot yun na siya. Mas pag-usa na siya kadaghan. So, how to determine rate of groundwater movement? So, first is hydraulic conductivity. So hydraulic conductivity is a measure of a material's capacity to transmit water. So it is defined as a constant proportionality relating the specific discharge of a porous medium under a unit hydraulic gradient in Darcy's law. So this is Darcy's law. So V is specific discharge, K is hydraulic conductivity, and I is hydraulic gradient. So second is the hydraulic gradient. So it is the slope of water table or potentiometric surface, that is, the change in water level per unit of distance along the direction of maximum head decrease. So, uh, it is determined by measuring the water level in several wells. So, dire makita nato dara kana na example. So, the water level in a well, which is in the figure, usually expressed as feet above the sea level. So it is the total head or HT, which consists of elevation head or Z and pressure head HP. It is also the driving force that causes the groundwater to move in the direction of maximum decreasing total head. So next, wells. So wells, tulad ng tani bangin balon. So a well is a hole drilled into the ground to access water contained in an aquifer. So a pipe and a pump are used to pull water off the ground, and a screen filters out unwanted particles that could clog the pipe. So, daghan klase na well. Pakita ko picture na. Ano siya mga balon, and most commonly na to na sila makita sa kanang mga bukid-bukid. Dili man ning na ang naong silang balon, but inana ang thought gina nagabuhat sila ana para ma-access ang groundwater sa lalong sa yuta. So there are three basic types of wells. So first is a bored or shallow wells, which are usually bored into unconfined water source, generally found at depths of 100 feet or less. Consolidated or rock wells are drilled into a formation consisting entirely of a natural rock formation that contains no soil and does not collapse, so their average depth is about 250 feet. And lastly, unconsolidated or sand wells are drilled into a formation consisting of soil, sand, gravel, or clay material that collapses upon itself. So next, aquifers. So an aquifer is a body of saturated rock through which water can easily move, and aquifers must be both permeable and porous and include such rock types as sandstone, conglomerate, fractured limestone, and unconsolidated sand and gravel. So, aquifer, mo rin siya og kumbaga uh, container sa tubig in which dara ang tubig sulod dara kana na container is kana maka easily move, makalihok-lihok, makabalhin-balhin. So there are examples of good aquifers. First is fractured volcanic rocks, second fractured granite, and third fractured schist. So muna siya ang mapansin na to puros fractured because if fractured ang rock or ang rock na sa tanan kay mas permeable siya and mas porous. Alright, so what does an aquifer looks like? So every aquifer is unique, although some are more generic than others. So the boundaries of an aquifer are usually gradational into other aquifers, so that an aquifer can be part of an aquifer system. So the top of an unconfined aquifer is a water table, and a confined aquifer has at least one aquitard at its top, and if it's stuck with others, an aquitard at its base. So, muna siya ang itsura sa aquifer. So, body of muna siya ang kita na ito dira ang unconfined aquifer and confined aquifer. So, kumbaga, gibutang dira ang tubig or kumbaga nakakulong dira ang tubig. Types of aquifer. First is confined aquifer. So water is trapped between two impervious layers. So water at any point in a confined aquifer is under pressure. Confined aquifers are called artesian aquifers, and free-flowing wells frequently are said to exhibit artesian flow. Kung kita dira ang confined aquifer, kanang tubig na nadara sa tunga sa clay o sa bedrock kay under pressure na siya because naipit. Di ba pag ipiton mo ang anything kay magka-pressure mo siya. So na puno og pressure ang confined aquifer. So kung magkalot ka dira padung sa confined aquifer, musaka ang tubig because it has enough pressure na gikan sa baba sa iyang pagkaipit. So munang mura siya mutubod magka-spring. Magka-spring because of the pressure sa baba. So next is unconfined aquifer. So the bottom of the aquifer is an impervious confining stratum, and the top of the aquifer is open to the atmosphere through voids in the underlying geological material. So the top of saturated layer is called the water table. So an unconfined aquifer is known as water table aquifer. So balikan dere. So unconfined aquifer naman mo na siya ang kumbaga ang nagkulong sa yaha, ang top layer niya is accessible to the atmosphere. So, kumbaga mo na siya saturated ang soil or sa because of mo na siya ginatawag na water table kana na part. So, ang iyang kabasa po kay gikan sa unconfined aquifer. Kaya dikit lang mo siya na access. So, how does groundwater move? So, groundwater moves more slowly than water flowing down a river or stream. So it moves mainly under gravity from areas of high groundwater levels or pressure to areas of low groundwater levels or pressure. In other words, it flows downhill. So it is also possible for groundwater to move horizontally across an aquitard and even upwards when it is under very high pressure known as artesian pressure. So, familiar man to sa water cycle. So, kumbaga, ang thought sa movement sa groundwater kay murag gyapon siya sa water cycle. But uh, ang main source sa iyang movement kay gravity and pressure. So nagadepende ang iyahang movement sa kakusog sa gravity or sa pressure na nagapull sa iyaha. So if ever na kusog ang gravity gikan siya taas, so downhill, so pababa ang iyahang movement because of the gravity. And if ever man na pa-horizontal, siguro na enough pressure uh, horizontally nagikan siguro sa body of water na sa labas or sa ginabira siya horizontally. So nagadepende ang movement sa kakusog sa pressure and sa gravity. So next, what is runoff? So runoff in hydrology, it is a quantity of water discharged in surface streams. So runoff includes not only waters that travel over the land surface and through channels to reach a stream, but also interflow, the water that infiltrates the soil surface and travels by means of gravity toward the stream channel and eventually empties into the channel. So ang runoff, it is the body of water na kanang makita na to if ever magulan or na ay tubig na miagas sa isa ka bukid. Pag na-slope, meaning na ay runoff. Na tubig na slope, meaning na ay runoff. So, ang kanang tubig na nagaagos pababa. In that certain place, mo na siya ang runoff. So, runoff also includes groundwater that is discharged into a stream. Stream flow that is composed entirely of groundwater is termed base flow or fair weather runoff. Of course, where a stream channel intersects with the water table. So if ever na ay groundwater na niagas and ana na-discharge siya into stream, runoff po ang tawag ana kay kung ano siya, moagos man siya pababa. Ayun, so muna makita natin dira ang runoff sana. Gikan sa bukid, if ever magulan, hangga't tong tubig gikan sa ulan pababa, pababa sa bukid man na siya ang runoff. Kumbaga, kung atong anohon, if ever kada ganing magulan, 'di ba? Na may mga nganong mukusog ang tubig sa sapa sa isa ka lugar pagkusog ang ulan sa bukid because of runoff. Wala siya nakapadako sa tubig ang runoff. Nagikan sa bukid o sa ulan. So, factors affecting runoff. So, first, storm characteristics. This includes the type of nature of storm and season, intensity, duration, areal extent or distribution, frequency, antecedent precipitation, direction of storm movement. So, if ever, unsa ka kusog ang muna siya ang mga factors na gina-consider if ever anong kusog ang runoff sa isa ka lugar or sa isa ka bukid. So, first sana is ang storm characteristics. Kung unsa ka kusog ang storm, kung sa siya ka-frequent, kung sa siya ka-dugay, di ba kung mas dugay, meaning mas dako runoff, kaya dagan og tubig na naga agi dira sa kusog ana. Next is meteorological characteristics. This includes temperature, humidity, wind velocity, and pressure variation. Next, basin characteristics. This includes shape, size, slope, altitude, topography, geology, land use, vegetation, orientation, type of drainage net, proximity to ocean, and mountain ranges. And next is storage characteristics. So depression, pool, sand, ponds, lakes, stream channel check dams, upstream reservoir or tanks, fluid plains, etc. Low intensity storms are longer spells contribute to groundwater storage and produce relatively less runoff. Yun. So, runoff will increase due to initial wetness of the soil due to antecedent rainfall. So, rain during summer season will produce less runoff. So, syempre, kay wala kayo ulan, meaning gamay lang runoff. So, during winter, will produce more and greater humidity decrease evaporation. So, this pressure distribution in the atmosphere helps the movement of storms. Snow storage and especially frozen ground greatly increase the runoff. So, peak runoff decreases as the catchment area increases due to higher time of concentration. If the if the vegetation is thick, greater is the absor. So if the vegetation is thick, meaning daghan kayo mga plants dara na nakatanom, daghan kay kahoy. So meaning the absorption of water is greater. And meaning, so less runoff kay daghan man og naga suyop sa runoff. So dili na kay siya ina nakadaghan ang munaog because ginasuyop na siya sa plants na nakatanom nito. And if the direction of the storm producing rain is down to the stream receiving the surface flow, it will produce greater flood discharge than when it is up the stream. So meaning kung taas ang discharge, water discharge gikan sa bukid, meaning times 2 ang madawat dito sa baba. Kay maipon naman siya. So muna siyang na diri makita nato na siya diri na na example. So if ever naay precipitation ay ulan ana then naay plants na magsuyop siya ha, meaning magamay ang tubig na baba padulong diri as a stream or sa lake. But if ever gani na wala na siya enough na plants na naga nakatanom dira, meaning tuloy-tuloy lang ang flow sa runoff padulong dira sa yahang basin or kung asa man dapat siya padulong. Example kanang mga rivers may nana. So that is why anong mas males ay kung saan na to pagpalesen ang una, especially baha pag ulan na plant more trees. So please plant more trees. Yun. So thank you very much for listening and hopefully you've learned something in today's report. And thank you and God bless.